Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Here we go. Want to go on vacation and not pay us for the work? Won't be home for a few days after informing us? Sure. My grandpa is on my do not ever F with list. In any way. Short list. Taught Shotokan overseas in Korea, one of the highest-ranked black belts outside of Japan. I've seen security footage of some of his bar fights. It's legit. Was a personal bodyguard during the 1970s for some governors in our state, worked construction for decades, one of two master carpenters in my state, which leads to this story. During summers, I would work with Gramp doing a lot of his manual monkey labor, shingles up to the roof, mix concrete, sand floors, keep everything tidy, etc. He'd been screwed over the years, as many general and subcontractors are, and as the years went by, his contracts for work got more and more specific, i.e. payments on a certain schedule, new/unexpected costs and how they're dealt with, etc. One particular job started out pretty normal. He's hired to build a new deck with a new patio/driveway patio for this guy. Let's call him Crap Brain. New construction, newer house, easy job. Gramps had even done work for him in the past, no problems. Deck is to be partly covered, 10 by 50 on the front of the house, 4 feet up with concrete stairs. Brand new door, brand new picture window, 4x8. Driveway is to be stained, freshly poured between the new deck and garage Grandpa built a few years ago. Guy was even going on vacation for a few weeks. We can get the job done in those 3 weeks if we bust it. Guy pays 50% of the estimated cost up front and was to pay the remaining 50% over the agreed time. Now, this first payment covered all material for the original estimate and paid us basically minimum wage for the hours we'd put in. The next few installments would cover the subcontractor for pouring the driveway and the remaining hourly wages. Weekend 1 passed. No agreed payment. Guy's on vacation. Maybe he forgot to set up auto pay. Whatever. Send him pictures on AOL email. The original concrete stairs had been removed. New door was in place. Deck was framed out. But we didn't hear from Crap Brain. Weekend 2 passed. Well, crap. No payment yet, but work needs to be done. Concrete guys are here for the new slab and stairs. Let's get it done so we can move on to new jobs. Subcontractor is a longtime family friend and distant relative. Call him Timmy. He does us a favor and pours and stains on an IOU. Send more pictures on AOL. No response from Crap Brain. Week 3. We finished our work 2 days early. Subcontractor has finished their work. It looks amazing up there on a nice hill. But we haven't been paid for this work. Gramp finally gets Crap Brain on the phone. Hey, Crap Brain, how was vacation? Blah, blah, blah. Skip forward 3 to 5 minutes. Gramps is a talker and lived in the vacation state for a few years. Great. Well, glad you had a great time while I busted it here. Holy hell, it's been hot. What'd you think of the work? Crap Brain says, oh, it looks great. We'll be home later day after tomorrow. We're having a get-together with XYZ. Well, glad you're going to enjoy it. Oh, hey, seems like your bank didn't pay us on the scheduled agreement. So? Excuse me? So what? I'm not paying you the rest of the money. Work's done. Tough luck, you old effer. I understand. Click. Grandpa turns to me and says, well, let's get to work. Oh, and get Timmy on the phone. Crap Brain had that large garage Gramp had built years ago, and the guy let us use it to store equipment while they were out. First, the brand new door was removed and placed in the garage. Then each piece of the brand new deck was removed and placed into the garage. Sadly, the posts were 36 inches deep, but hey, a 4x4 truck pulled those out of the ground nice and good after a bit of shoveling. Those were also placed in the garage. Window was also removed from the frame and placed on top of this pile. Deconstruction is much faster than construction, after all. Timmy was rather unhappy about not getting paid, but hey, we found out that the new stairs we poured moved well enough across the new driveway/patio, and some bleach took care of the stain we put on the patio. Sadly, it had a few chips in it from all the ruckus, and someone made the time to take a diamond saw and cut all the way through the seams. Sadly, it'll now settle at an uneven rate. But all the material Crap Brain paid for, he got to keep. We even went into the garage in the evening and made sure his front door was locked, for security. Even the few tools we needed for the job, which Crap Brain paid for, stayed in the garage. Fast forward 2 days. Crap Brain comes home and throws a crap storm. It had stormed, and his AC had been running nonstop with the increase of draft in the front of the house. Of course, he threatens Gramps with a lawsuit and the police, which just makes Gramp laugh. A close relative was the assistant chief of police in our small town, unbeknownst to Crap Brain. We did everything we were contractually obligated and paid to do. All the equipment, all the materials were in Crap Brain's possession. That is, after all, what he paid us for. Crap Brain blustered a lot, but it did F all. Fast forward a bit. No one in the local union will deal with the guy. Gramps and Timmy are both pretty well respected and do a lot of great work around town. Someone from out of town ends up fixing the issues and does a crap job of it. Darn. And our next story. Can we fix it? Apparently not, but OSHA can. This was years ago when I worked security at our local paper mill. One of our many duties was to patrol through the mill and keep an eye out for safety hazards. One such was that the roof leaked like a sieve. When it rained, there would be cascades of water falling from the ceiling and forming pools of sometimes ankle-deep water all over the place. This would be issue enough, but some of these waterfalls of annoyance fell on electrical boxes. High-voltage boxes specifically. The boxes were sealed enough that nobody got electrocuted, but it was only a matter of time until it happened, and I'm honestly surprised it never did given how poorly they were maintained at the time. I and the other security personnel had made reports of it every time it rained, but nothing was ever done about it, and the workers were as PO'd about that as we were. It all came to a head during hurricane season. As my name might imply, I'm from the Gulf Coast, where some pretty bad hurricanes have passed through. This particular year, we had some pretty torrential rains pass through that had made the mill much resemble the swamp that surrounds it. It was so bad that the pit in the mechanics bay flooded and had to be pumped out. Several months before this, we had a person electrocuted due to faulty lockout procedures, so nobody was willing to take chances with those HV boxes standing in what was now a 5-inch deep pool of water. Rather than filing yet another report, my supervisor decided to speak directly with the safety director about it. His response was that they'd passed all their inspections, and if OSHA hadn't seen it as a problem, then it wasn't a problem, and the people who'd been avoiding walking through the accident waiting to happen were just being babies. Furthermore, he instructed us to stop reporting the same stuff to him over and over. If we thought it was such a big deal, then we should take it to someone who could fix it. We knew he meant the maintenance department, but that's not what he said. It should be noted at this point that when I did my patrols, I made it a point to stop and chat with folks and had built up a good rapport with many of them. They knew what was going on in their areas, and they'd often tell me about stuff that should be included in my reports that I might have missed or had little way of knowing. So it was that I innocently, that's my story and I'm sticking to it, related to some of the guys in those areas what had been said. We got some ideas. I didn't know the term malicious compliance back then, but the concept was not foreign. We took pictures of the boxes, complete with warning labels, corroded conduits, and the veritable lakes around them. Then each of us filed complaints with OSHA about unsafe working conditions. OSHA takes their job very, very seriously. A couple weeks later, I show up for my shift to a effing swarm of activity. OSHA is there for a full inspection. See, every time they'd had an inspection before, the mill had been able to steer the inspectors away from certain areas. But not this time. This isn't just some passive see anything? Nope, not really inspection. This is a full-on, extra-long gloves, bend over the table. You might feel a slight pressure as the proctologist, whose fingers look to each be the size of bananas, fish you up to the elbow inspection. It drags on for days. In the end, the mill had to replace the roof's ventilation, some catwalks that were so close to falling apart they could have run for public office, multiple fail-safes that had been stuck open for so long they'd rusted into uselessness, the corroded storage racks. You really don't want multi-ton rolls of paper making a break for it. A huge portion of the electrical system, the fire suppression system, the GD-H2S sensors, which had apparently not worked in years, and a bunch of other stuff I don't remember offhand. But you get the idea. And our next story. If you are unable to work, you must find your own replacement. I used to work as a server for a casual restaurant. The managers there were lazy and constantly adding new, stupid policies that nobody wanted to follow. The first time I got a cold, It's unethical to work with food when you're ill and called in sick. The managers called me out at the next staff meeting and said I was being a bad team member by letting everyone down and calling in sick to get out of doing my work. Soon after this, they implemented a new policy. All employees who are unable to attend their shift must find their own replacements or else they must show up. I found this ridiculous, as it's the manager's job to find someone to take a shift if one employee can't make it. So one morning when I woke up with a high fever at 9 a.m., I spent the hour texting the limited amount of coworker contacts if they could cover my shift for me. Of course, they all said no. It was pretty last minute. So after an hour of attempting to find my replacement, I called the manager at 9:55 a.m., 5 minutes before my shift was supposed to start. The conversation went as follows. "Hi, manager. I woke up with a fever this morning and I feel very unwell, so I'm unable to come to work today." "What's your shift?" 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., sir. Inside, I was thinking, shouldn't he know my shift? He's the one who schedules our shifts. "Okay. Have you found your replacement to take your shift?" "No, sir. I just spent the last 55 minutes contacting the coworkers I have the information of, which is only 6 people. They were all unavailable." "So I'll need you to come into work today because you have no replacement, yeah?" "I have a fever. It's not safe for me to come into work and handle food. That wouldn't be fair to the customers." "Well, then I need a doctor's note." Okay, but my doctor doesn't take same-day appointment requests, so can I bring a note next week when my doctor's available? However, the note won't say anything, as most fevers don't last more than a couple days." He was silent. "I tried to the best of my ability to find a replacement for my shift due to your policy, but I only have contacts for a few of my coworkers. I do believe you have a complete list of all the workers here and could contact them on my behalf, but the policy says I have to do that. So I did." "If you call in sick again like this, I'll have to write you up." "Yes, sir, I understand. I apologize for the inconvenience." The next time I showed up to work, my coworker told me that since my shift had basically started by the time he hung up the phone, he didn't have time to go through the list and find me a real replacement. So my manager had to be my replacement and work as a server. The policy still existed after that, but nobody followed it, and I quit a few months later. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.